How did a young prince from a small kingdom, tutored by the greatest philosopher of his age, become a military genius who conquered an empire spanning 3 continents and left an indelible mark on history? This is the awe-inspiring and complex story of Alexander the Great, a figure whose ambition, brilliance, and relentless pursuit of glory changed the world forever. Imagine a young boy, Alexander, born in 356 BC in Pella, the bustling capital of Macedon, a powerful kingdom in ancient Greece. His father was King Philip II, a brilliant and ambitious ruler who had already transformed Macedon into a dominant military force. And his mother was Olympias, a fierce and strong-willed queen who even claimed a connection to the legendary Greek hero Achilles. From his earliest days, Alexander was steeped in tales of heroes, gods, and epic battles, a world that would undoubtedly shape his own grand ambitions. But Alexander's education wasn't just about military strategy and warfare. He was privileged to be tutored by none other than Aristotle, one of the most brilliant philosophers in all of history. For 3 crucial years, Aristotle guided Alexander's mind, teaching him about philosophy, politics, ethics, literature, and the wonders of science. Can you imagine having such an incredible teacher? This intense learning experience profoundly shaped young Alexander, giving him not only a remarkably sharp mind, but also a deep love and appreciation for Greek culture and learning, which he would later spread across his vast future empire. He cherished Homer's epic poem, the Iliad, and was known to carry a copy with him everywhere he went, finding inspiration in the heroic tales. Beyond books, he was also a natural horseman. There's a famous story about him as a teenager successfully taming Bucephalus, a wild and powerful horse that no one else could manage. Alexander cleverly noticed the horse's fear of its own shadow. So he simply turned its head towards the sun, removing its fear. Bucephalus became his loyal companion, carrying him bravely through countless battles for many years. Alexander's destiny took a dramatic and swift turn in 336 BC, when his powerful father, Philip II, was suddenly assassinated. At the tender age of just 20 years old, Alexander inherited the throne of Macedon. Many of the other Greek city-states under Macedonian control believed this young king would be weak and vulnerable, and they immediately revolted. But they quickly learned their mistake. Alexander, with incredible speed and ruthless efficiency, crushed these rebellions, swiftly re-establishing Macedonian dominance over all of Greece. His decisive destruction of the city of Thebes served as a brutal and unforgettable warning to any who dared to defy his authority. King Philip II had long dreamed of invading the mighty Persian Empire, a vast rival that had constantly threatened the Greek world. Alexander now inherited this grand dream, but he expanded it far beyond anything his father could have imagined. In 334 BC, with his control over Greece secure, he crossed the Hellespont into Asia Minor, what we know today as Turkey, leading a powerful army of around 40,000 Greek and Macedonian soldiers. He wasn't just a conqueror. He truly believed he was bringing the advanced Greek civilization to the east. His campaigns against the Persians were nothing short of a masterclass in military strategy. He won a series of incredibly decisive battles that solidified his legend. There was the Battle of Granicus in 334 BC, his first major victory against the Persian governors, which opened up all of Asia Minor to his forces. Then came the Battle of Issus in 333 BC, where he directly faced the Persian king Darius III himself. Even with a smaller army, Alexander decisively defeated the much larger Persian force, even capturing Darius's entire family. After that, the grueling siege of Tyre in 332 BC, a 7-month struggle against a heavily fortified island city, showcased his brilliant engineering skills and stubborn determination. But the most important clash was the Battle of Gaugamela in 331 BC, the climactic battle where Alexander completely shattered Darius's main army, effectively conquering the very heart of the enormous Persian Empire. After Gaugamela, Alexander marched triumphantly into the magnificent Persian cities of Babylon, Susa and Persepolis, seizing immense treasures. He treated the defeated Persians with a careful mix of respect and smart practicality, often integrating Persian officials into his new administration. He wasn't just a destroyer of empires. He actively sought to merge and blend cultures. But Alexander's ambition knew no bounds. He was not satisfied with just conquering Persia. He famously declared he wanted to reach the ends of the world. He pushed his loyal army further and further east, into Central Asia and eventually deep into India. Here, his forces faced entirely new and formidable challenges: incredibly difficult terrain, fierce Indian armies, and even terrifying war elephants. At the Battle of the Hydaspes in 326 BC, he defeated the powerful King Porus and his war elephants, a hard-won and costly victory for Alexander. By this point, his soldiers, who had been campaigning relentlessly for over a decade and had marched thousands upon thousands of miles, were utterly exhausted, homesick, and desperate to return to their families. Despite Alexander's passionate pleas and his best efforts to inspire them, they finally refused to go any further. They simply wanted to go home. It was one of the very few times in his life that Alexander the Great had to yield to the will of his own men. The return journey was incredibly arduous and costly, with Alexander famously leading part of his army through the unforgiving Gedrosian desert, where many of his soldiers perished from thirst and hardship. Once back in Babylon, he immediately began to plan his next ambitious ventures, including a potential invasion of Arabia and a dedicated effort to strengthen his vast empire's administration. He actively encouraged his Macedonian generals and soldiers to marry Persian women, hoping to forge a new, unified Greco-Persian ruling class. He himself set an example by marrying Roxanne, a beautiful Bactrian princess. Alexander was truly more than just a military leader. He was a visionary. He founded numerous cities throughout his conquered territories, many of them named Alexandria, the most famous being the great city of Alexandria in Egypt. These cities became vibrant centers of Greek culture, learning, and trade. He actively encouraged commerce and the mixing of ideas, leading to what historians call the Hellenistic Age, a period where Greek culture profoundly influenced the East, creating a rich and vibrant blend of civilizations. But Alexander's incredible journey was about to come to a sudden and tragic end. In June 323 BC, while in Babylon, he fell gravely ill after a particularly heavy night of drinking and suffered from a very high fever. His health rapidly declined. On June 10th or 11th, 323 BC, Alexander the Great died at the shockingly young age of just 32. The exact cause of his death remains one of history's greatest and most enduring mysteries. Many theories have been put forward over the centuries. Some historians suggest malaria or typhoid fever, common and deadly diseases in ancient Babylon, as strong possibilities given his reported symptoms. Others have speculated about poisoning, believing that some of his generals, weary of his relentless ambition and increasingly erratic behavior, may have conspired against him. This theory, though popular in ancient times, lacks any definitive proof. It's also possible that the extreme physical demands of his non-stop campaigns, coupled with heavy alcohol consumption, simply weakened his body beyond recovery. His reported last words, leaving his empire to the strongest, highlight the chaos that would follow. With no clear or designated successor, his vast empire was soon brutally torn apart by his most powerful generals, known as the Diadochi, who fought fiercely among themselves for control, dividing his conquests into separate Hellenistic kingdoms. Alexander the Great's legacy is immense and truly enduring. He created one of the largest empires in ancient history, and in doing so, he played a pivotal role in spreading Greek culture, language, and ideas across vast swaths of Asia and Africa. He inspired countless leaders throughout history, from Julius Caesar to Napoleon. He was and remains a profoundly complex figure, a brilliant and charismatic military strategist, a visionary leader, and a man driven by an insatiable ambition, but also one capable of great ruthlessness and, at times, immense cruelty. His short but explosive life reshaped the ancient world and continues to captivate minds and spark debate today.